Hi, my name is Sean, and for this demo, I'm going to wear the hat of an executive at an ice cream retailer, curious to see how my business is performing at a high level. At first glance, I can see that there are a lot of low-performing stores in Texas, which is concerning for me as an ice cream company that relies on warm weather states. Let's click into our Texas stores and take a closer look. As I scroll through this data, it's concerning for me to notice that my Fort Worth downtown store has low performance from a year-over-year perspective. It's one of our smaller stores, and it's got a high waste percentage relative to my other stores in the state. Let's see if we can figure out why that is by popping open the storefront view for Fort Worth. From here, I can review things like high-level KPIs for the store, revenue breakdowns, or even Sigma-generated receipts if I ever wanted to conduct an audit of individual purchases that are taking place here. To help me identify areas for improvement across my business, my team set up a Sigma chatbot that can help me summarize concerning trends. Things like, why is there so much waste in this store? Without me having to involve an engineer, whenever I have a question, I can instead directly call on models or functions in Snowflake, or even leverage pre-built Cortex agents like this one that my team trained with context just for me, to help make complex analytics tasks simpler. That way, I can focus my time and energy on applying my own business expertise to tackle these hidden problems that Sigma is helping me uncover. In this example, it's clear that my Fort Worth store is experiencing high waste due to product expiration, specifically among specialty flavors, which don't appear to be major revenue drivers on their own. That's interesting to learn. Now that I know what's driving waste, I'm curious to dive into the data myself and explore what's actually driving revenue. Unfortunately, my team didn't think to build any visualizations around revenue in this view. However, they know I like to get my hands dirty in Excel, so they provided me with a table that I can use whenever I want to build new assets for myself. I'd like to investigate how different products contribute to revenue at this store to compare back those expiration numbers that I just learned about. In Sigma, I'm able to use an intuitive Excel-like interface to explore my data, or even visualize my data at multiple levels of detail. Let's start by grouping by product. For this table, I'm also able to leverage a governed, predefined set of metrics from a centralized data model to ensure that everybody in my organization is calculating things like revenue the same way. Let's call this one my product revenue. From here, I'm also able to layer in additional groupings, like things like store name, if I wanted to see what my product revenue looks like as a percentage of my total revenue by store. Let's add in that calculation here. In Sigma, I'm able to do things like create calculations across levels of detail, one from this product level and one from the store level, in order to get things like a derived percentage of my total store revenue. Let's call this percentage of total. Like I said, though, we're only focused on this Fort Worth store, so let's see what this looks like as a breakdown of my total revenue within Fort Worth. Clearly, these are the same exact products that we just saw contributing the most to expiration. So to see that they're both contributing the least to revenue and the most to expiration tips me off that there's something that we need to reconsider around how we're stocking these products. Now that I've arrived at this insight, I can save this off and revisit it at a later date whenever I'd like to share what I found with any of my coworkers. Let's call this low performers. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the Fort Worth store is also known for frequent stock outages. Because of this, I had one of my analysts set up an inventory management view in Sigma to help capture stock outage issues in real time. In this view, each of my managers are able to easily come in and see real-time data about their own stores. They can even make manual adjustments to inventory that our point-of-sale system wouldn't be able to capture. Anything from a simple spill of 4 pints of my cookies and cream ice cream to things like noticing that different flavors might be expired throughout my store. Sigma lets anybody add new information that your data team might have missed so that your entire organization can work off of accurate numbers to make informed business decisions in real time. As you can see, I can even do things like sort this by waste, or even toggle over to this upright freezer view where I'm seeing this by the pint versus by the scoop. Now that we can capture our waste in real time, we just need to be a bit more proactive about making sure that we are accurately projecting out our demand and ordering to support it. Now let's switch over to our procurement team's view. In addition to being able to view live point of sale data, as well as waste data manually entered by our employees in real time, we can also capture large purchase events from wholesalers that we receive over email. Thanks to Snowflake's ability to extract data from a PDF and translate it into a table, I can even take a purchase order that I just received from one of my wholesalers and map this back alongside my existing point of sale and waste data. Even if I lack an existing software system or integration to handle purchase orders from our retailers, I can build a workflow in Sigma to act as that application for me. Now that I have this data, I'm able to create an accurate real-time forecast of upcoming required inventory so that our procurement team will be able to help keep all of our locations properly supplied. Let's take a look at that forecast now. As we can see in our baseline view, the PDF and waste data are already accounting for a noticeable delta below our baseline expected supply, represented by the dotted gray line here. Beyond just capturing expected waste, I can create a new forecast scenario based on my expectations for upcoming months, and add these adjustments into an input table in Sigma alongside my comments to see the impact on my forecast that I've built. In this case, perhaps I know that Valentine's Day is going to lead to an uptick in ice cream purchases for the month of February, and I'd like to just include a 20% increase for every store and attribute it to Valentine's Day. When I do this and hit save, now that's going to get mapped back into my original forecast, and I should be able to see a noticeable delta for the month of February. Finally, based on all the data from my point of sale system, all the information extracted from my PDF purchase orders, and that waste data entered manually by our employees, I can use Sigma to generate a new purchase order PDF of my own to make sure that my product team has all the ingredients needed to meet the demand that I just modeled out. I can even burst this out individually by store so that a given store is only seeing the orders that they need based on the ingredients that they will require. That's the beauty of what AI apps in Sigma are able to provide for our companies in the real world. I can explore rich insights as an executive, depend on my frontline employees and their managers to capture information and enrich our data sets in real time, even in areas that our point of sale systems would traditionally miss. I can lean on my procurement team to analyze macro demand trends to course correct our local or systemic inventory issues, and we can generate new orders directly from where we interact with our data, all without any of us ever having to switch between different tools or local files. Sigma takes all of our resources across all of our departments, our data, our experience, and our creativity, and it lets us work together.